Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tinmans Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tinman Taylor. Today I'm over by my movie shelf again because I wanted to do another ranking video for you guys. Now, I'm taking a break from any horror franchise ranking videos because I wanted to rank another genre of film, and that's the superhero genre. So I decided to go ahead and rank one of my favorite superheroes of all time in live action media. And you can probably tell who it is by the title of this video and what shirt I'm wearing. It's Batman. In this video, I'm not including both versions of the Justice League, even though it has Batman in it in the majority of the film, and I'm not including Suicide Squad or The Flash, since that one had Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and George Clooney in it. I'll just consider that as a film with cameos in it. So I'm just going to be focusing on the films that have Batman in the title. So I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my all-time favorite Batman film. My number 10 pick has got to be one of the goofiest Batman films ever. But it's Batman the movie with Adam West and Burt Ward. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's a classic, right? I get it. It is. But I'm just not a whole huge fan of the campy Batman aesthetic, where he was carrying a bomb and he said, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb." That was funny. But it's just, I'm not a huge fan of the whole boom, pow, fight type scenes. I'm more into the grittier action scenes like the later Batman films have. This was supposed to have been like the movie to introduce season 2 of the Batman show. And this one had like 4 villains teaming up: Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman. And they're all goofy as I don't know, wasn't funny. But it's just to see them have tensions against each other, where Penguin and Riddler started arguing with each other, and then Joker had to walk over and say, "Friends, please, just shake on it and be done with it," or something, right? And then he joy buzzes them. But then Catwoman throws her cat at them, like intimidating. I was done when they had that phony shark biting on Batman's leg, and Robin had to bring down the shark repellent spray. But overall, it's still a good movie. But like I said, I'm just not a huge fan of like the campy aesthetic. Now, let me show you the film that's in my number 9 spot that would have been on people's dead last. And that's Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I didn't have a problem with this one at all. A lot of people did. Because I think George Clooney did not give off a good Batman persona, in some people's opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought he looked more like a serious Bruce Wayne, like Michael Keaton. It was just the way the script was written for this film. And especially seeing Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze team up. That's weird because one wants to put these hybrid animal type plants around the globe, while Mr. Freeze just wants to freeze everything. So you would think that that wouldn't work at all. But somehow they were able to write in the script that they come into an agreement. But I did like the ending where Mr. Freeze walked into Poison Ivy's cell, said, "Surprise, I'm your new cellmate." I said, oh, yeah. He's definitely going to get his revenge on in Arkham Asylum, that's for sure. But I dig the Batmobile that was in here. It was better than the one in Batman Forever. It looked more gothic looking. Almost looks like a vampire's car, you know. And my cousin even digged this Batmobile in this film too, even though the movie wasn't good. The Batmobile, the bat suit looked cool, but I'm just not a huge fan of the bat nipples. And plus, I don't get why in the world they had to make Batman's utility belt look smooth, like it didn't have no pouches or nothing hanging off of it. Because Batman used to have his gadgets wherever they go. Blue on black color scheme on that suit. I don't know, that just didn't work out for me at all. I mean, if they just went with a gray suit with blue, cowl, cape, and gauntlet, gloves, boots, then there you go, right there. That would have been problem solved, but nope. They just went with the more blue on black suit. Yeah, this thing was a whole can of worms just to make it more fitting for both kids and adults, just trying to sell toys, you know? Especially with these suits right here that Batman, Robin, and Batgirl are wearing, the ice suits. Come on, really? And I really did not like Mr. Freeze's icy puns, where he said, "What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age." And then when he enters the museum, he's an Iceman cometh. And I was like, oh my God, we know you're cold, dude. You don't have to keep coming up with these freezy jokes. It's not a bad movie, but the way the script was written, it just like felt like it was in a rush. Just to get it out there, you know. As a sequel to Batman Forever. Number 8 is Batman Forever. This one wasn't a bad film as well, but I just kind of missed the whole idea of Michael Keaton not being Batman in this one. But I'm glad he did not even sign on for this film, because it don't even have the same aesthetic like his first two films. They try to make it more campy and kid-friendly. Since people had to really criticize how Batman Returns turned out, I'm like, dude, it was just them tying with McDonald's that made it all bad. But I bet you if they did not label it like as a kids movie, just had like adults come in to watch it, then it probably would have been successful. Michael Keaton couldn't return for this film. But I think Tim Burton said his film was not going to be called Batman Forever. It was going to be called Batman Continues. This is when the whole bat suit with the nibbles thing started. I actually dig the bat suit in this one better than Batman and Robin's bat suit. Val Kilmer did a good job, but rest in peace, Val. In this film, even though he didn't have the same type haircut like Michael Keaton did, but other than that, he was perfect. I did love that scene in this movie where he gets suited up to go fight Two-Face, and Alfred said, "Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?" He said, "I'll get drive-through." The Batmobile was cool, but like I said, the one in Batman and Robin was way better than this one, because they really made this one more like an animal. And it was my favorite at one time. They even had the Looney Tunes characters riding around in that version for a while. Tom Lee Jones tries to pull off like a really serious Two-Face, but then he gets all campy when he turns to his darker half side. But then when they have him team up with Jim Carrey's Riddler, they're just obnoxious. Crazy. Because Jim Carrey said all the time that when he was on set with him, he told him that he really didn't like him, but he had to work with him anyway, because Jim Carrey is more goofier than he is. So you wouldn't have thought that this team up wouldn't work at all, but somehow it did. Storyline was great. It was a perfect sequel from '89 Returns, but I'm glad that when Michael Keaton came back to reprise his role as Bruce Wayne and Batman in the Flash movie, they kind of cut off Batman Forever and Robin as a different Earth type of situation. This storyline was great, where Riddler is obsessed with Bruce Wayne, but when he rejects his idea about the funding for this device that can literally transfer your thoughts of mind manipulation, he got a little upset, and when he found out he was Batman, he really wanted to torment him. And I can't believe he found the entrance to the Batcave. You would have thought Bruce would have had a secured lock on the silver closet to where a device like from Riddler's cane would not even open it. But then when he walks in and all the computers turn back on and the Batmobile rises up from the little turret thing, Riddler had to go to town throwing little Riddle bat bombs and blowing everything up. I felt kind of sick to the stomach when he blowed up the Batmobile. I love that sonar suit that he unveiled towards the end, and having Robin's introduction in this film was a good idea, but also the way they executed it, where you see his family getting killed in the circus like in the comic books. My number 7 pick, a lot of people's going to hate me for this, but it's The Dark Knight Rises. It's a good movie, but I just didn't like the whole idea of the League of Shadows coming back, because they already did that in Batman Begins. And you would have thought after Ra's al Ghul died, it was over. But no, they had to make Bane an excommunicated member of the League of Shadows, and he's coming back to Gotham just to destroy it like Ra's al Ghul was going to do. But he really takes it all to the next level by using an atomic bomb. But just to see Bane and Batman fight was a cool scene. But I was mad that they literally found a way to build a little shelter underneath Wayne Enterprises, because then Bane was able to blow up a section of the ceiling and one of the tumbler prototypes dropped down to the floor. I was like, well, dadgummit, now they got access to all of his weapons. And plus having Talia al Ghul coming in as supposedly the main ringleader of this whole orchestrated plot. But it would seem like Bane ended up being more like a puppet with her, even though she was in love with him as well, but not like she was pretending to be with Bruce. I just didn't like seeing Bane picking up Batman and breaking his back and throw him into a pit just to keep him away for what they were planning on doing. But Bane did not account for him to heal up so quickly just to escape the pit. But it was satisfying to see Batman punch the ever-living crap out of his mask just to make him having more trouble to breathe. But also Anne Hathaway did a good job as Catwoman. I loved her in this film. And her and Bruce Wayne was like a perfect love match. But yeah, I think this one was all rushed together because after Heath Ledger passed away, the idea was Christopher Nolan was going to bring him back as like Joker, as a side character, not being the main villain, because Bane is the main one, planning this whole plot, and he was just going to be running out in the street chasing people down. But since he passed away, they had to take that whole concept out. My number 6 pick is Batman 89. I should have had this placed higher on my list because it's a cool Batman movie. Jack Nicholson was great as the Joker. He was more comedic and serious at the same time. But Michael Keaton looked brutish in this bat suit for this movie. And the Batmobile, top notch. It looked more realistic than them other two I just mentioned from the other two films. Love the whole plot of like Jack Nicholson's Joker killed Bruce Wayne's parents when Bruce was still a kid. But then it's almost like payback revenge for him because Bruce got made into Batman that day, while years later when he's Batman, he accidentally let goes of Jack and he falls in that chemical bath to make him the Joker. So it's almost like he made him. And Jack Nicholson just jumping around in that commercial, showing off his Joker products for making people smile. It was funny. And when he showed up, the other guy that was tied up, he's like, uh-oh, he's been using brand X. But with Joker brand, I get a green again and again. But then Batman was able to figure out the combination of the products used so people know what to avoid. Joker said, I have given a name to my pain, and it's Batman. He shoots the TV. Tim Burton did a great job with this film, and Batman Returns, which that's going to be a little bit higher on my list. I'm going to talk about that one as well. But I wish we had more films off of this concept. But I'm glad towards the end of this film, he's no longer considered a bad vigilante or criminal. But this one will stand the test of time as a cool Batman film. Okay, number 5 pick is The Batman that came out with Robert Pattinson. I actually saw this at theaters with my cousin and two of his friends. And I love the Batmobile in this one because they went back to more of a muscle car type route. And the Batsuit looked cool. And I kind of agree with some people where his Batsuit was way better than Christian Bale's V2 suit that looked more like motocross gear. This one looked like it had more armor plating. But the fact that he made this Batsuit himself from just everyday materials, because the utility belt looked like a military combat belt, and he made a knife chest emblem piece, and the Batman cowl looks like it's made out of leather, but it has some sort of metal pieces in it because people were shooting at it and it was bulletproof. I'm like, dang, they fired so many rounds into that suit in this movie. I thought it was going to eventually break apart or something, but no. It protected him real good. We don't get to see him training and making his bat suit. He's already got the bat suit, the tech, and he's already starting out as Batman in this film. And Gordon is still like a lieutenant in this film, so he ain't commissioner yet. But I love that Catwoman in this film was eager to help Batman find clues about the Riddler, and he helps her find the people that killed a friend. Turned out to be some of Penguin's thugs that work with Carmine Falcone. It was more grittier and violent than Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, let's just put it that way. But it was action-packed. The Batmobile chase scene with the Penguin was cool. Just to see that thing rev up and jump over a car trailer. You know, I'm just thinking about it right now. I might end up doing a video on ranking the live-action Batmobiles sometime. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to do that or not. But the only thing I didn't like about Batman's costume in this film was that if he wanted to fly, his cape don't shoot off like a bat wing span or nothing. He has to end up pulling the string on his suit, and a flight suit forms around his bat suit. But the Riddler's costume in this film was unique. Like, they try to get away from all the campy spandex stuff, and they made him look like a guy that could grab any military surplus item and do his own design with it. Like, the mask that the Riddler wears is literally a cold weather mask, and he just put his glasses over top of them. And the jacket looked like some sort of bomber jacket with a fur collar hood. And all he did was add a white question mark on it. But when he's talking on the phone camera to get people to answer his riddles, it's really terrifying. So let's continue on to my number 4 pick, and that's Batman Returns. It's an improvement from Batman 89, that's for sure. Like, the suit was more form-fitting looking to Michael Keaton because the 89 suit, the cowl looked like it was too big on his face. And I kind of love the Art Deco aesthetic on his bat suit, where instead of like actual muscle pecs, it was more like a machined out looking ribcage design. And he's got multiples of them because in Batman 89 he only had the one suit. So when he designed this one, he figured if this one gets destroyed, he has to have backups. And just to see him have that bat suit chamber open up for him to walk into, and then he started grabbing all the bat suit pieces he needed to suit up, was a cool scene nevertheless. But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito did a good job as Penguin and Catwoman. I really didn't like Christopher Walken's back Shrek character in this film because he's really one bad SOB. I mean, it's not Christopher Walken's part. He portrayed a villain perfectly in this film. But he was just trying to build a power plant to store a lot of Gotham's energy and not push it out for Gotham to use. And he tried to get Penguin as the new mayor. and get rid of the other one that wouldn't help him with his power plant idea. And also him pushing Michelle Pfeiffer out the window was really a bad call on his part, even though he tried to get rid of somebody that was being curious about what he was up to. But it really shocked him to see her walking around and came back as Catwoman towards the end and tried to drain his blood. But I'm glad she was able to get through his gunshots that he fired into her and electrocute his butt just to get rid of him. But this one is really, like this person Pat Cullen says on here, sensational. A fun house of comic and crazy surprises. Number 3 pick is Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Let me tell you why this was more higher on my list, because I was watching some other people's ranking videos and this one was way lower for them. I thought this was a good movie. I know the script writing was kind of terrible, making Batman hate Superman, but then they end up working together and then Superman gets killed in this film. I get it, but Ben Affleck did a good job as Batman. You wanted more of a comic accurate Batman that's more brutish. Then nothing ain't more brutish than Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, and Ben Affleck gave us that look for the live action universe. I still think he's a cool Batman actor. Me and my parents saw this in theaters, but I was like Jeremy Irons' Alfred telling Bruce, Superman is not our enemy. But he's just worried about, like, you know, the future of him turning bad and going up against humanity. But Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, was really weird. He acts all goofy and he really has a bad temperament when Batman steals his kryptonite that he got, and really has some bad trust issues with Superman. Like, you really want to get rid of him first, but when Batman intervened, he was setting up like little notes. You let your family die. Really drove him over the edge. And he didn't mind Superman going over there to kill Batman. But luckily that did not happen, because Lois was able to go over there and stop Batman from killing Superman with a kryptonite spear. But just to see them two join forces with Wonder Woman to fight Doomsday was epic. Now, if you watch the Ultimate edition of this movie, then you probably get a better feeling about this whole plot and everything. Because I know everybody was hyped when they announced this at Comic-Con back in 2013, I believe. But there was a lot of people criticizing Ben Affleck's choice as Batman. And, well, I was too, because I said, wait a minute, the guy that played Daredevil as Batman? But he proved me wrong, and I know some of you would agree that he was a good Batman. I'm just sorry that his Flash cameo was the last time we'll see him. But he said, never say never. He might agree to come back as Batman for like a multiversal storyline or something. Who knows? But hopefully he gets a better bat suit than the one he wore in the Flash, because that one was really weird. But I was glad towards the end of this film they arrested Lex Luthor for what he was doing. But I was mad that he summoned Steppenwolf to come down to Earth looking for those mother boxes that led up to the Justice League movie. But overall, it's a good film. I wish they did like some sort of follow-up with Ben Affleck's Batman, or do Man of Tomorrow with Henry Cavill. But all that's scrapped. And finally, my number 2 pick is Batman Begins. Again, this is another one of them Batman films that I went to go see in theaters with my parents. I'm a huge fan of this Batman film, because it's like an origin story for Christian Bale's Batman. And you get to see him train with the League of Shadows, leaves for Ra's al Ghul to go back to Gotham and go back to Wayne Enterprises to get not only his tools that he needs to fight, but at least Lucius Fox, his tech guy, knows about it, and Alfred, and then Rachel Dawes, his girlfriend attorney in this one. But it was just cool to see him take the tumbler out in the test room in Wayne Enterprises just to drive it, get a feel for it. And he really had to push the button to go into a boost propulsion. And Lucy said, "Not now." But it was nice to see him say, "Does it come in black?" Like he was really interested in that car. But I hated that Ra's al Ghul came back to Gotham and had his men burn down Wayne Manor just so he could show him like he didn't like what he did to his house and he don't want him interfering with his plans. But long and behold, he wouldn't have known that he would have got down in the Batcave quick enough to get his suit on, go confront him, and not save him this time. But the bat suit in this film was way better than the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises version, because I know the whole storyline of like that suit that he wore first was getting heavy and he needed to be lighter and faster, so they had to come up with a plot device just to make a new suit. But if Christian Bale decides to come back as Batman, they should make a new suit that looks similar to what he wore in Batman Begins, but more agile, like it's got more armor plating on it. And I think he would look good in a blue-gray suit. What do you guys think? But yeah, overall, this is a ground-up origin story film that was not set in no campy Gotham City. It was more realistic. And Christopher Nolan wanted it to be set more in real life, like he was getting inspiration from what the military was working with, just so he can have a reason for all the Bat gadgets to have a certain function, which I thought that was pretty good on his part. This is a very good Batman movie, and I wish Christopher Nolan does decide to make some more Batman movies, because I would like to see him continue off of the first Dark Knight trilogy with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because Dark Knight Rises ended with like a possibility, but I doubt we're ever going to get that new trilogy. But anyway, you probably guessed my number one pick is The Dark Knight. Hands down. I saw this one in theaters too. Heath Ledger's Joker portrayal was really spot on. I mean, he's not like the Joker that will fall into a chemical bath to bleach his skin and everything. They try to do more a realistic rendition on. He's set up as a guy attacked by his drunken father that cut his mouth right here. And he just put on war paint just to make him look more scarier. And he's not wearing no goofy looking clothes either. He just got custom made regular clothes in purple and green colors. And him showing up just to rob the mob's banks, just to rip them off, and then convince the mob to hire him to kill off random people just to get Batman to unmask himself, but then destroys Harvey Dent's legacy all at the same time was brilliant move. I just did not like Batman taking the blame for Harvey Dent's fall into madness and have him set up as a murderer for Dark Knight Rises. But I get it. They didn't want to see all the criminals that Harvey locked up released and back on the streets because of what Harvey did and having people lose hope on him. I just hated that after Heath got done working on this film, he was working on that other film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parazus with Johnny Depp. And he died after that. We won't be seeing his Joker no more. And I'll be mad if they recasted his Joker, and if they kept the Joker character in The Dark Knight Rises or into follow-up films, because that would be like disrespectful to not only Heath Ledger's family but his legacy. He really brought a dramatic tone of voice, and the way he acted as the Joker was spot on, perfect. And I don't think no other Joker actor can top his performance. But I did dig the scene where Batman used the tumbler to block Joker's rocket launcher blast. I hate the tumbler got destroyed, but we got to see the Batpod jump out of it, you know. I thought that was cool. So Batman has some other form of transportation that's faster than the tumbler and more mobile through tight corners. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my ranking of all of the live action Batman films. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more ranking videos. And I think the next one I'll do is the ranking of Ghostbusters. So stay tuned for that. And have a nice day, buddy.